the reason why I bring this up is because it's exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about like why men have hesitation with single mothers, right? You got a guy, you've got a woman who has no kids and she's single and has never had kids versus a woman who has already had children and has them in tow. The obvious choice is the one that doesn't have kids, because that one is a resource drain, because that's what women are looking for, at least in the bad buck side of things, is they're looking for a guy who has resources, has a surplus of resources, and is willing and is generous enough to share them. Well, it seems like a better prospect to share them with somebody who hasn't already bred with someone else and whose kids I'm going to have to take care of in addition to any that I might have with her, versus the woman who has no children. It's not fucking rocket science. It's basic math. Okay. So when I'm talking about that, or I'm talking about cuckoldry, for example, and this is why this is really contentious for academic, like evil psychic gatekeepers, is because it leads us back to cuckoldry. Who are women having sex with? Who are women reproducing with? As I've said before, there is proactive cuckoldry and then there's retroactive cuckoldry. Okay. Proactive cuckoldry is what everybody already knows, right? It's like a couple are married. The woman cheats on him, has the baby and says, it's your baby. That's proactive. They're already together. They had an extra pairing copulation and they had children as a result of that. And the woman deceives the man into thinking that there are his kids because she wants that beta male as a provider, because the guy who fucked her and put the babies in her is not a good bet for long-term security. He's a good bet for sexy sons. He's a good bet for good genetics, but he's not a good bet for taking care of those kids, because he's a hot guy and he has the attentions of lots of other women, right? So does she abort the baby of Chad? No, she aborts the baby of Brad. She aborts women will not abort, as readily anyways, the baby of the guy who, they won't abort the baby of the guy who has a lot of money and can afford it, or they won't abort the guy who is the genetic specimen. Okay. They'll keep that baby. They'll abort the baby of the guy who they think is never going to be a winner. Is always going to be a loser and is never going to be a winner. Okay. And just, again, track with me here. I should also point this out, is like when women are looking for a sexual surrogate and they're looking for a sperm donor, like whether it's at the fertility clinic or they're doing it online or whatever else, they're not choosing that guy because he happened to be a lawyer and he happened to be a brilliant mathematician and he happened to have 4 degrees from prestigious universities. They want to get with the guy who is on the fucking water polo team. They want to get with the guy who is physically the best specimen possible. And you can look at the stats for this. Who are you choosing? They're not choosing for intelligence. They're choosing for physical prowess. I want my sons or daughters to look like this motherfucker right here. So when you look at who women are choosing as far as like their breeding, like they're not going to even have sex with the guy. They're just going to artificially inseminate themselves with a fucking turkey baster. Okay. That guy is going to be a physical specimen. He's not going to be a lawyer. Sorry, James Sexton. As good looking as James is, right? No homo. But as they're not selecting based on intelligence. They're selecting based on physicality. Okay, that's number one. Number two is when women are cheating, it is in their benefit. It's to their benefit to breed with the best genetic stock possible and to also pair with a guy who has the best ability to take care of those kids. Women are looking for both of those aspects in the same guy. Ideally, they would love to have that guy, but they never come at the right time. They never come in the party years. So what happens is she breeds with the guys or has sex with the guys who are, 18 to 28, has sex with the guys in the foam cannon party in Cancun, right? It's the guy she doesn't make wait for sex. But until she gets to 30 years old and she's hoping that she's going to find a guy with benefits, because now she's less able to attract those guys that she could when she was in her hoe phase, or her party years, right? And so now she's got to find a guy who's a good bet for the future or is already a winner. As Rich Cooper would say, women don't care about men's struggles. They care about, or they wait at the finish line and they fuck the winners, right? Well, as I said before, not all women can be at the finish line to fuck the winners. So they have to make bets on horses that they think that are going to win. So when women get to 30 years old, average age of first marriage, there are either waiting at the finish line or they got to get with the guy who has prospects. Who are those guys? The good provider guy. The guy who has provisioning, who has a better potential for provisioning, protection, and parental investment. So with that in mind, how does that track with dual mating strategy? Perfectly, as they just described here in the article. It's exactly what we've been saying in the Red Pill for decades, at least 2 decades now. So keep that in mind. Let me move on to the next section here. Good genes from an affair partner with parenting support from the primary partner. I love how they like soft sell these things. No, it's cuckoldry is what it is, my friends. Because rarely do the two exist in the same male. Ideally, that's what women want. That's what women describe as the complete package. I want the complete package. Well, what's that? He's got to be good looking. He's got to be 6'5", trust fund, finance, blue eyes. He's also got to love his mom. He's got to want kids. He's also got to like puppy dogs and rainbows and Disneyland. And he also has to feed me Ben and Jerry's whenever I'm depressed and it's Shark Week and I have to have all of these. And he's just going to do all these things for me, right? And he can't ever be boring. He's always got to be exciting, and rarely do all those qualities, alpha fucks qualities and beta bucks qualities, rarely do they manifest in the same man at the same time when women need them the most. Because we also take into consideration the timeline on which women need those things. Okay, let's keep going. Contrary to the mate switching hypothesis, the study found no evidence that women preferred their affair partners overall or saw them as a better long-term mates. Women did not rate their affair partners higher in terms of mate value or personality compared to their primary partners. This indicates that women are not typically seeking to replace their primary partners with their affair partners. Got it? Thank you. Instead, they seem to maintain a clear distinction between the roles of the primary and the affair partner, valuing different qualities in each. Interestingly, the study also found that men exhibited similar patterns to women in their infidelity behavior. Guess what, children? Men and women like to fuck. We all like to fuck. This suggests that men, like women, may also engage in infidelity to seek genetic benefits from physically attractive affair partners while valuing their primary partners for parental investment. I don't think it's so much that. I think men want that comfort from mama. They want to fuck it's the Madonna whore complex, right? We want a porn star on the streets and mommy, or a porn star in the sheets and mommy in the streets, right? Whatever. It's turning a hoe into a housewife or turning a housewife into a hoe. Okay? Finding that men were strategically dualistic as well. You notice what's funny is like, do you see the deflect here? We found that women actually do want to fuck hot guys as affair partners and still want to keep them as keep their dads or their married partners sort of in the bullpen right there. But it's okay because men do it too. No, we know that men want to fuck hot chicks. We don't need a study to tell us that, and we don't need you describing that. The real news here is that mate switching hypothesis is bullshit. Finding that men were strategically dualistic as well, prioritizing physical attraction in affair partners and parental abilities in primary partners was a surprise. To no one, no one inside the Red Pill, Murphy told SciPost. However, it's consistent with some past research, some of which suggests men are even more dualistic than women in their affairs. Ooh, men do it too. Ooh, who cares about what women are thinking? Because men are doing it and they're doing it worse. Guess what, Mac? We already knew that. Guess what? The Red Pill has already accommodated that, has already been talking about that for forever. The qualitative data provided further insights into the diverse motivations behind infidelity. Some participants' responses aligned with the dual mating strategy. For example, several women mentioned being physically attracted to their affair partners and wanting to experience being with someone more attractive than their primary partner. Guess what? She wants to be bent over the fucking kitchen table, and unlike dad is going to do. So let's keep going. Although the findings did not support the mate switching hypothesis overall, some participants indicated that they had affairs in search of a better long-term partner. Yes, but they still fucked the guy because he was hot. You know what? I kept thinking maybe he would be a great, partner that I could switch up to. But I got with him because, well, he looked like Jake Gyllenhaal. He looked like Ryan Gosling. A few women mentioned falling in love with their affair partners or wanting to be with them long term. Yeah, because they're dignitized, which reflects the mate switching strategy. This indicates, but what's funny is it might reflect the mate switching strategy, but you don't get to the mate switching strategy without the hot monkey sex of dual mating strategy first. This indicates that while mate switching may not be the dominant motive, it's still relevant for a subset of individuals. Yes, or else the other possibility here is that it's cope, and we've got to find some way to square the circle of he was hot, I was drunk, and one thing led to another. Both men and women cited a desire for variety and novelty as a reason for their affairs. What? Because Dr. David Buss and his team found back in 2017 that wasn't actually the case. Women are blameless. It's men who are the problem, right? This motivation aligns with the idea that the individuals seek new and exciting experiences outside their primary relationships. Yeah, for men, it's called porn. For instance, one woman mentioned being bored in her relationship, and a man described wanting to sow his wild oats while still young. These responses suggest that the drive for new sexual or romantic experiences can be a significant factor in infidelity. A significant number of participants, particularly women, mentioned relationship dissatisfaction as a key motivator for their affairs. I wonder if that dissatisfaction was dissatisfaction in the sexual performance of the guy that they're with, because up to this point, prior to this study, mate switching hypothesis said it was all about beta bucks, that it was all about status, it was all about prestige, it was all about money, it was all about moving up in lifestyle. No longer. Where's all that? Where's the fucking apologies for that? Where's my fucking apology? God damn it. I'm sorry about this, but I ate a lot of shit for this stuff, and now fucking the chickens come home to roost. Okay, some participants reported infidelity as a form of revenge against their primary partners. I also have, by the way, I don't have it on tap, but I know I have this in my my Twitter bookmarks, that women can facilitate revenge sex way better and are more apt to perform, let's say, cheat on a husband or a wife as a form of, a husband or a boyfriend as a form of revenge. For example, one woman mentioned discovering her partner's emails seeking other women, which prompted her to cheat as a form of payback. There you go. And it's easier for women to do that too. A few participants indicated that their affairs were driven by a desire to validate their attractiveness and desirability. I think this is probably a little bit more common than people would really like to admit. For example, one woman wanted to know that other men still found her desirable and wanted to gain more sexual experience. This reflects a motive to acquire information about one's own value and attractiveness in the mating market. Although less commonly cited, the multiple investors hypothesis was supported by a few responses. This hypothesis suggests that women might engage in infidelity to secure additional resources and support from multiple partners, basically orbiters, also known as the OnlyFans gambit, thereby enhancing their offspring's survivability, because obviously if you have multiple people helping you, it's much better, right? This strategy is particularly relevant in environments where the primary partner's investment is insufficient, prompting women to seek supplementary help from other men. It's the orbiters tactic. Okay, I think I'm going to stop. Is there any more? Okay, I'm going to stop right here, and we'll bug out of that. There we go. I think I've made my point adequately. All right. So, all that said, mate switching hypothesis is cope. And I think it's high time we re-examine this, especially in light of new data. I also think that we also need to, if we're going to re-examine this, and if we're going to pick it apart, I mean, please go and read what I've written on Substack.